Hello everyone, Jab here from Cut and Make Crafts. Let me know if you guys can hear and see me. So I'm really sorry about the delay, the 2 hours delay, because I got stuck with some tech issues, which is why I had to reschedule today's live session to 8 p.m. instead of 6 p.m. And I'm really sorry about that. We're gonna start from 6 p.m. tomorrow onwards. It was really a huge problem going live with the tech issues and everything. So I'm just setting up my live on Instagram as well. So we're just gonna get started in a couple of seconds. So I know a lot of people who got confused with the timings because I promised 6 and now it's 8 p.m. and I'm really sorry about that. So let's get started. For those of you who are new here, I am Jab, the creator of the SVG Superstar Coaching Program and the founder of the Cut and Make Crafts blog. So we are officially starting our 30-day six-figure SVG business live video series where every day I will be going live at 6 p.m. EST to share everything about starting and running an SVG business. So today, and if I'm not sure if you guys have seen the topics that I sent out via email, but I'm just gonna go through it once more on my computer so you can see what's coming up in the next 30 days. So we're gonna start off by, so let's take a step back and let me tell you who this to whom this is going to benefit the most. So I help creators with a full-time job make extra cash on the side from selling SVGs. If you are someone who is working a full-time job as a nurse or probably in the bank or some other kind of job, and you want to start a side hustle and to make extra cash so you can cut down your hours, so you can spend more time with your kids, and you have so much going on in your life, you want to start making extra cash, but you're finding it difficult to sell handmade items, then this is the best stream for you to check out all my live videos in the next upcoming days so you can get an idea about how to start an SVG business instead of selling handmade items, and how you can make extra cash on autopilot without having to package and create all the handmade items from scratch. So you can stay tuned for the next 30 days to learn everything about how SVG business can be helpful for you. So I'm just going to share my screen and let you guys know what's coming up in the next few days. So let me know if you can see my screen, and on Instagram I am just going to turn my camera over so you guys can see my screen as well. So in the upcoming days, we are going to be going through all these topics, all about designing and selling SVG cut files. So today's day 1, and I will be going over what SVGs are, because a lot of people who have just gotten their Cricut, or someone who does not even own a Cricut, for them it's hard to understand what SVGs are, and there is a lot of confusion about this topic. So I will be clarifying what SVGs are today, and then tomorrow we are going to look at why selling SVGs is the best thing right now, then mistakes that you need to avoid, in list of money-making SVGs, And we're going to also think about if this is the right path for you, because you don't want to start something you don't feel confident in, or something you are not so if, like, for example, if you're not tech savvy, then this is probably not the best kind of business for you. So these are some things we're going to look at in on day 5, and on day 6 I will be having a workshop for just 20 people on how to design SVG cut files. I'll be sharing more details later on. And then we are going to look at why you're not living your dream life as of now, even if you want to. Like, a lot of people want to start their business, want to start making extra cash from home, but they're not able to do it. So we're going to look at what is the problem behind that. And then we're going to look at the one thing you need right now to start an SVG business, mindset shifts. Then you can plan your SVG business together. Then how to start, how your comfort zone. We're going to talk about comfort zone and all those psychological perspectives that you need to change in order to become an entrepreneur, to actually run a successful SVG business. And then we're going to talk about sustainable income and selling digital files, some myths, struggles, and the importance of community, importance of having an audience. So all of the different aspects of running an SVG business. So stay tuned. It's going to be a super fun 30 days. So let's get started. So first of all, what are SVGs? So a lot of people have a confusion between SVGs and PNGs. All right. So what is the difference between an SVG and a PNG? So SVG basically stands for scalable. So SVG basically stands for scalable vector graphic, SVG. So what does that actually mean? So what does that actually mean? Scalable vector graphic, or so for those of you who are not familiar with the graphic terms, when it comes to the digital graphics, there are several different types of graphics. There are SVGs, there are PNGs, and these are divided into 2 main categories. So one is raster images and one is vector images. So raster-based images are like the final images. You cannot edit those images. Those are like the end products. All right. So when you see an image on the computer, which is PNG, or maybe a photo, like these photos, I bought them in JPEG format, like the final photo, which you cannot edit at all. So PNGs and JPEGs and GIFs, these all come under the raster images. These are the final images. They cannot be edited. Whereas vector images are made from lines and dots. We're going to look at what that means later on. But right now, all I want you to remember is vectors are made from lines and dots. These images can be edited. And we're also going to look at what they look like in Design Space in just a minute. So SVGs are vector images which can be edited. PNGs are raster images which cannot be edited. So this is the number one thing you need to understand before you start using your Cricut. So if you work with an SVG, you're whole project becomes super easy to work on, and you have no issues once you start understanding the difference between these two. And one thing I want to point out is that when you look at the SVGs in your computer, they will appear with a browser icon like this one. So there we have 3 to 4 different browsers that are pretty common. You can have Chrome, you can have Firefox, you can have Mozilla, you can have Internet Explorer. So how many people are aware about the term internet browsers? Raise your hands if you understand the terms internet browsers. There are 4 commonly used internet browsers, right? Chrome, Mozilla, Firefox, and Internet Explorer. I'm using Chrome, so that's why my SVG appears with the Chrome icon. If you are using Mozilla or Internet Explorer, let me look for Internet Explorer. Microsoft Edge, it's the new name, Microsoft Edge. So maybe you are using Microsoft Edge. So if you're using Microsoft Edge, your SVGs will have this icon. If you're using Firefox, which looks like this, if you're using Firefox, your SVG will look like this. So SVGs take the icon of the browser that you are using. That is why you cannot see SVGs on your computer, because they appear with the browser icon. And if you look in the list view, not the list view, details view, in front of the SVG, you will see Chrome HTML document or HTML document in the type. So that is how you spot an SVG on your computer, with the browser icon, and in the description it will say Chrome HTML document or HTML document. So that's how you spot an SVG. Whereas a PNG, you can see the PNG clearly. So this one over here is a PNG. Let me enable my thingy pointer. So this is a PNG over here, and this is the SVG. You can see the difference clearly. So a lot of people make this mistake of just using the PNG as an SVG because they can see the PNG. They think that this is the SVG, but it's not. And once people upload this on their canvas in the Cricut Explorer and they're not able to change the colors or change the layers, then they get super frustrated. So if you want to avoid frustration, start at the base. Start with the basic thing, which is to understand the difference between an SVG and a PNG. So PNGs, you can see the PNGs clearly, like this one over here, but SVG appears with a browser icon. I'm repeating it a million times so that everybody understands. Now I'm gonna upload this to my design space and I will show you the difference as well. So let's go ahead and upload the PNG first. So here's the PNG. I'm just gonna drag it to my Cricut design space and drop it here, and you can see this is what it looks like, and I have the option to choose complex, moderate, choose the number of colors I want to see. So I want to see complex, and even though there's no white background, because I have already removed the white background, this is what it looks like. It's a whole thing. And to understand whether you chose the SVG or a PNG, you can look at this screen. So if it was a PNG, if it was an SVG, I wouldn't have gotten these options to select a cut image or to select it, to save it as a print then cut. Because it's a PNG, it is giving me the option for printing and then cutting, because this is a final image and it cannot be edited. And this is the number one signal sign that you have uploaded a PNG, because you have two options to save it as two different things. And if you save it as a cut image, you can see all the details are lost. So let's save it as a print then cut. Okay, so now the second step to understand whether it's a PNG or an SVG is to look at the layers panel in your Cricut design space. So as you can see, there's only one layer in design space, and this is the second biggest sign that this is a PNG and not an SVG. I will show you what an SVG looks like in just a minute, and you'll be shocked to see the difference. Like, wow, that's a light bulb moment. You'll have a major light bulb moment once you see the difference between an SVG and a PNG in the layers panel. So this is the PNG, and I want you to remember what the layers panel looks like at the moment. Let me open a new window so we can see the difference. So now I am going to upload the SVG, which is this one over here, the browser icon. Let's drag it and upload it in design space. And immediately it asked me whether I want to save it as a cut image. And you can see the other option to save it as a print image is no longer there. And if somebody noticed, I also did not get the option to choose the type of colors: complex, simple, moderate. So this is another sign that you are using an SVG and not a PNG. So here, this is a cut image, and you can see even in the cut image, it says I can see all the details. Whereas when we were uploading this one, the PNG, let's go back. Let's do this again so we can see the difference on the spot. Let me upload the PNG over here. So you can see right after I uploaded the PNG, it gave me all these options: simple, moderately complex, and complex. But when I uploaded the SVG, it directly took me to this page. So let's see what the PNG looks like. So I'm going to click on complex and continue. And this is another step that I have to do when I upload a PNG. So this is the sign to look out for. When I upload a PNG, there are 3 different steps that I need to follow. Okay, I'm not sure why it brought me here. So anyway, now look at the layers panel. This is the PNG file. It has just one layer. And when I add the SVG file, look at the layers panel. How many different layers do we have? Because since this is an SVG file, we have every object is in a different layer. And if you look, you can see everything over here. I can just ungroup it and I can move things around in this image. I can move the plaid, I can move the glosses, I can move everything around, I can customize it and everything. So this is a cool thing about an SVG. Now, let's go to the other screen where we uploaded the PNG, which looks like this. You can see I cannot move anything around. There's no option to ungroup this, and there's no option to move things around. Whereas when I use the SVG, I can move everything around the way I like. So this is one of the major differences between an SVG and a PNG. So I hope you guys understand what does an SVG do, what does an SVG look like, and what does a PNG looks like. So a lot of people end up using the PNG, and then they get super frustrated when they feel restricted, when they can't move things around, when they can't edit the things around. Everything is in one layer. You can't change the colors or anything. Then people get super frustrated and they don't know what to do. So the first step is to understand the difference between an SVG and a PNG. So why is it important to use an SVG? So with an SVG, first of all, you get the option to modify things. Secondly, an SVG can be used with a number of different software to cut the designs. You can use SVG with a Cricut. You can use an SVG with a Silhouette, with the laser machines. You can use SVGs in multiple different software with multiple different machines, but a PNG cannot be used in that way. You can use a PNG, but then you won't get all these details if you're using colorful, multi-layered stuff, multi-layered items. If you want to work with layers, you have to use SVGs. So that's the biggest thing about SVGs. They let you work in layers. And we're going to look at the demand for SVGs and everything in tomorrow's masterclass, why SVGs are such a cool thing to sell right now. So in this one, I'm just going to sharing with you guys what's the importance of SVGs in the crafting industry, right? So you can use SVGs. Number one thing is that it allows you to work in layers. You can cut everything in different colors. You can have a different color for the plaid. You can have a different color for the base layer. And you can also modify things around, move things around the way you like it. So this is a cool thing about SVGs. And another cool thing is that their size is pretty small. If you look at the SVGs on your computer, you can see that the size is just in KBs, kilobytes, 99 kilobytes. And whereas for the PNG, the size is 2.71 MBs. No, it doesn't make a difference. So this is another major difference. A PNG will take more space on your hard disk, whereas an SVG will not. It's a very small in size. You can easily send it via emails. So it's very easy to share and very easy to store on your computer as well, because the size is so small. So these are some major differences between an SVG and a PNG. So I hope you guys found that helpful. So I'm just going to have a look at the comment section to see if there are any questions. I'm sorry, India, I don't get this question. When you change a page to an SVG, if you could just further explain this question, does it have to stay black and white? And yes, you can. So the next question India asks is, can you upload to Affinity and modify? Yes, you can upload an SVG and modify it, but you cannot upload a PNG to a design software and modify it. So let me just check the questions on Instagram. So somebody is asking, can I get more information about your classes, please? Yes, I will be going over the classes in just a minute. So so India is asking, when you change a PNG to an SVG, does it have to stay black and white and remain uneditable? No. So if you are using one of the online PNG to SVG creators, your PNG will turn to an SVG with all the dots and lines, and it will become editable. So once you change PNG to an SVG, it becomes editable. Because it has changed to an SVG. So I hope that made sense. So I hope by today's session you understand the difference between an SVG and a PNG, and going forward you will double check whether you are working with a PNG or you are working with an SVG. So SVGs is what is being used with the cutting machine software. That's the thing that people want to buy so that they can easily work on their cutting machine software with different layers, with different, so that they can modify it easily. So SVGs are the golden, what do you say, the it thing. PNGs are not in the cutting machine industry. So what you need to design and sell are SVGs and not PNGs. So that is one major takeaway for you guys who want to start making and selling SVGs. You're creating and selling SVGs, not PNGs. All right, so I hope that made sense. Now about my classes. So I'll be going live every single day for the next 30 days, sharing everything you need to know about starting an SVG business, about becoming an entrepreneur, about becoming an SVG business, SVG entrepreneur, and everything that you need to know. And if for those of you who want to learn to design SVGs, I will be hosting a paid workshop on Saturday, 8 p.m. on Saturday. And in the workshop, I will be sharing how to design SVGs like a pro. And for those of you who are interested, stay tuned for the link to sign up for the workshop. It will be a hands-on workshop. You would be required to download the software and have your laptop with you, because we will be working on the spot. I will be teaching you live, and you will be creating the designs with me during the class. It's going to be an intensive 3 to 4 hour workshop. And what else? Yeah, so we will be working side by side, and there are only 20 spots, because I want it to be a very closed workshop where you can work directly with me, where I can show you what steps you need to take and what things you need to do right on the spot. I will tell you what mistakes you're making, if your design is good enough for selling or not, and what modifications you can do to make your designs look good. So I'll be sharing all of this in the masterclass, and I will be posting the link to join the masterclass very soon. It's a paid masterclass, but you will have access to me. I will be sharing everything that you need to know about creating super cool SVGs, the tips that I use when I'm creating SVGs for Cricut. As some of you might know, I'm actually designing for Cricut Design Space. And everything that I've learned from my experience in working with Cricut, I'll be sharing that during the masterclass. So if you're interested in finding out more, stay tuned. I will be sharing the link soon. All right, so that's all for now. Don't forget to join me tomorrow for our next lesson, where I will be sharing why SVGs are such a cool thing to sell right now if you are working a full-time job. All right, so stay tuned, and I will see you guys tomorrow at 6 p.m. EST. And I'm really sorry about joining late today. This will not happen again. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye.